Hey guys, happy Friday book haul day. So today I'm going to show you a collection of books which is a continuation of my last marketplace haul. I got a lot of the ornithology, animal and nature books, so yeah, I thought I would just go through a few more of them today and show you what else I have. Okay, so first up is this book called Australian Shells, illustrating and describing 600 species of marine gastropods from Australian waters. So they're all Australian shells. The front page, it's got this additional kind of cutout from another magazine, another book, just with some shells on it. It is a ex-library book, as you can see here, discarded. And it's not in the best shape. The spine is a little bit cracked, so that's going to make it a lot easier to cut into when I'm ready to use it. But the images in here would be fantastic to use in marine and beachy type themed albums. So you could pretty much just cut out the entire page and use that, or cut out the individual shells. One of the other things that I really liked in this book was at the front, there's actually some illustrations of shells over here. So they're really primitive images, but I'm not a fantastic drawer, so I think I could copy these pretty easily, and that would give me kind of a good guide as to how I'd like to draw some shells. So that's actually a pretty big book, but it's unique. I don't have anything like this, and the shells in it are really pretty, so I'd like to keep that one. Next up is this book called Our Magnificent Wildlife. So Our Magnificent Wildlife, How to Enjoy and Preserve It, a Reader's Digest book. And this one is dated 1975. And it's got matte pages, and the chapter of this book that I really like, actually, I was going through it earlier, was the first one, which is in endangered heritage. So it just goes through the different species that are endangered. This beautiful picture of a tiger and its cub is really nice. Butterflies in Jeopardy, they're really pretty ones. Rare Animals of Australia, that's a really interesting page. Bald eagle. Yeah, so a lot of really cool information in here. A lot of nice pictures as well to use in journals. And of course the lovely matte pages, even some illustrations. Actually, going through this, I'm wondering if there'd be any good pictures for my Woodlands journal. Yeah, so a lot of good material in that book. Next, here we have Life, Nature, Library, The Universe, and this is a book all about space. And this one's dated 1964. So I don't actually have any space books. This will be my first one. And it is pretty old. The information in it is probably dated. I don't know how up to date it is, or it's probably not really that relevant anymore, but it's really good for the pictures. So if I wanted to learn about space, I probably would not go to an older book like this. There's just constant developments in that kind of area, so I think I would prefer to read something up to date and more newer, rather than go off some old reference books for information. But I think I just saw some planets there. Yeah, that's a really nice page. Kind of looks like somebody's traced around them. Yeah, somebody's definitely been doing some tracing of the planets there. That's a really lovely picture, isn't it? Yeah, so just a lot of old vintagey type images in that one, which is awesome for a space journal. This book here, The World of Birds, Malcolm Ellis, and this is really eye-catching because I love that pink flamingo on the front of the cover. The World of Birds. And that's dated 1971. This was also an ex-library book. It's got the little library pocket at the back still. Unfortunately, no library card, that's been taken out. But yeah, in the back of this one, it's actually got some bird illustrations. So these ones are black and white. Some kookaburras up there. And that is a beautiful picture. I think that's an eagle. Yeah, it doesn't actually say, but that looks like an eagle of some sort. Here's some lovely colourful illustrations. And some larger paged illustrations as well. That'd be good for just single pages in books. Here we go. There's a couple of those eagles that I saw. So yeah, there's only a few pages of the illustrations and the rest are photographs. A lot of black and whites in here. But the photographs that they do have are really good quality. Or the coloured photographs. And that's a beautiful, vibrant picture there. So there's that one. Next up to show you is this book called Strange Dwellings by Reverend J.G. Wood. And this is actually a really old book, which is why I wanted to keep it. It's got this little tissue paper page in the front of it, and it's dated 1894. And this is just a book that describes different animals' habitats and the types of environments that they live in. So I thought that was a really different kind of subject. But yeah, it's got these black and white pictures or illustrations. The pages are pretty thin. So I wouldn't really have any problems cutting this one up, although it is pretty old. I think I'd get more use out of the images than the actual book itself. Like, that's a beautiful picture. Polar bear. Next up is this early history of Australian zoology. And this looks more of a reference guide, which I've already had a read through a couple of these pages, and this image here is actually the first representation of an Australian subject by a European artist. So yeah, a lot of first kind of drawn images from Australia in here, which is pretty unique and interesting. So there's illustrations as well as photographs. But yeah, it's a thin book, it doesn't take up much space, so I thought, yeah, I will add that to my collection. And next up is the Stanley Gibbons Collector Birds on Stamps. So this is a book dedicated to all the different types of bird stamps that you can get, and the previous owner was clearly a collector because there are a lot of things that have been highlighted and marked off, so they were clearly an avid stamp collector. And it's got a lot of usable small images that you can use for fake stamps, or even just to cut out and put on your project. and they're all of birds. So a lot of good material in here to use as well. An illustrated Encyclopedia of Australian Wildlife by Michael Morecombe, and it's dated 1974. And I'm just trying to remember why I kept this one. Yeah, so this has got a lot of illustration, black and white illustrations of different animals. So that's why I wanted to keep this book, and it's also got some lovely photographs. Oh, that's a cute illustration. It's also got some lovely photographs of birds. They're pretty big photographs actually, so they might be a little hard to use in journals. Oh, that's a cute picture. Very sleek looking bird. And that one's got an interesting beak. Yeah, the black and whites though, I think they're definitely a winner in this book. And this one I really love. It's called Birds of Australia by Michael Morecombe as well. And this one is dated 1974. This has got extremely glossy pages, but the images in it are very beautiful. The book has a really kind of nice smell to it as well. I know that might sound weird, but you know that new magazine smell? That's what this smells like. And the images in here are just gorgeous. Love the photographs. So I knew I wanted to keep that book. This one is actually going to be a little bit hard to cut into because they are so beautiful. And this one here is What Bird Is That by Neville Cayley. Oh yes, and this is the one, it's got an old Tats Lotto ticket in it for $25,000. So it's not dated unfortunately, so I don't know what year it is, but that is really, really old, and that is a really nice piece of ephemera. So this book is dated 1956. And it's got all of these types of pictures in it. I opened up on a nice page here, the fairy wrens of the heath and shrubs. Love the fairy wrens. That one's purple. I don't think I've seen a purple one before. That one's really lovely as well, parrots. So I've clearly wanted to keep this one for the bird pictures and the single pages. The birds can be cut out separately or used as a whole page. Either one would look really nice. So I think this is going to be my last video of the year because it's coming up to Christmas next week. So I wanted to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you so much for your support throughout the year on my channel. It's grown quite a bit, quite more than what I expected actually. But I really do appreciate your support and friendships over the last year, and I look forward to seeing and speaking to everybody next year. So have a fantastic Christmas everybody, and stay